Today we are taking a look at some mysterious ancient civilizations that they don't teach you about in history class. Ones that have seemed to disappear without a trace. It makes us wonder what happened to them, and if this soon will be our fate as well. From a real-life lost city of Atlantis to a civilization discovered while looking for the legendary city of Eldorado. Let's take a look at these in today's video. Top 10 civilizations that got wiped out. Starting off this countdown, we have Easter Island. Easter Island is a volcanic island located in Polynesia. It's probably best known for its huge statues that are found all over the island. These statues are called moai, and there are said to be more than 900 on the island. In fact, the inhabitants on this island were considered incredibly sophisticated. I mean, those statues are made from solidified volcanic ash, and they're said to take up to a year to make for just one. So how did they manage to build hundreds of them? We don't know. Now, research suggests that their methods of living weren't sustainable, so it's estimated that they settled on the island between 700 to 1200 AD. At its peak, the island held 12,000 people, but eventually they used up all of the island's resources and had to move on. That led to the loss of the island inhabitants and their society. Coming in at number 9, we have Chattelholic. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This is considered one of the first urban settlements in the world. And of course, before I go any further, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel because it really helps us out and I appreciate it. So this civilization was created 9,000 years ago. It's located in modern-day south-central Turkey. Back then, there were 8,000 people that lived together in one big town. What's interesting is that the civilization had no streets or roads. In order to travel around town, they actually traveled along people's roofs. Let me explain. So the houses were built right up against each other, and they had holes in the roofs and a ladder. So to enter the home, you would go into the hole and then climb down. To get around, you would walk along the roofs. Pretty fascinating if you ask me. In 5000 BC, this civilization was abandoned. We don't know why, but they think that climate change is a factor. It was discovered in 1958 by a man named James Mellart when excavating the area. Him and his team dug up the area for 4 years. In our 8th spot, we have the lost city of the Turquoise Mountain. The Minaret Gem is a 213 feet tall tower built around 1190. This structure is considered part of the lost city of the Turquoise Mountain. Around the minaret, they found pottery kiln, a Jewish cemetery, and other items suggesting a civilization was once present there. In fact, it's believed that people of different religions, including Christians, Muslims, and Jewish individuals, lived together there harmoniously for hundreds of years. Coming in at number 7, we have the Maya Civilization. I got flashbacks to grade 10 history class while writing about this one. The earliest Maya settlements date back to around 800 BC. During the pre-classic period. The Maya had built thousands of cities around Central America. They built elaborate palaces and temples and other structures. They also excelled in art and mathematics and astronomy. Their peak as a society was around 250 AD to 900 AD, or the classic period. However, after that, their cities were abandoned. The big mystery is why? Well, there are a number of theories, from climate change to internal conflict to invasion or disease. But we still haven't got one solid answer. Now what's crazy is how big the Mayans' influence was on society. Moving on to number 6, we have Cahokia, aka America's Forgotten City. It was located in what is now Illinois. And back then it was considered North America's largest city. Its peak was during 1050 to 1200 CE. At that peak, they had a population of 10 to 20,000 people, and their city spanned over 6 square miles. It was first discovered in 1961. Archaeologists in the area unearthed some ceramic figurines. As they continued to dig, more and more was unearthed. Eventually, they discovered a small copper workshop. Inside, there was a fireplace with coals for the copper. It was also discovered that the city was deserted in 1350. For unknown reasons. Some possible theories are disease, flooding, deforestation, or overhunting. But again, like most of these civilizations on the list, we truly don't know. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the lost city of Petra. This city is located in the desert canyons and mountains of Jordan. It's believed that people started living there back in 9000 BC. Soon, it became a thriving city and trading center. It was filled with giant monuments and structures and tombs, all carved into the side of the cliffs. Nowadays, it's considered one of the new 7 wonders of the world, but it was determined that around the 7th and 8th centuries, the people of Petra began to abandon their city. It's thought that the changing of trade routes may have had something to do with this, whereas others believe they were forced to leave by a series of floods and earthquakes. The city lay untouched until the early 1800s. That's when an explorer dressed up like a local and snuck his way into the city, which was tightly guarded. Now, it's a huge tourist destination. And in fact, some scenes from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade were filmed there. So that's a little fun fact. Moving on to number 4, we have Tarapia. For years, Tarapia, a civilization in the Amazon, was said to just be a myth. Back in the day, Spanish explorers wrote home talking about cities made from gold and civilizations in the Amazon. Of course, no one believed them. In 1541, an explorer went out on the search for Eldorado, the lost city of gold. Instead, he came across a civilization in the Amazon. He said that there were large villages and farms and cities. But years later, explorers went to the same spot he claimed this all was, and they found nothing. But now, satellite imagery has revealed that the jungle did once have large structures and an agricultural system. It's presumed that the civilization got wiped out by disease brought in by explorers. Or maybe they left because they found it way too challenging to live in the Amazon. Coming in at number 3, we have Indus Valley. Thousands of years ago, the Indus Valley used to be home to 5 million people. It was a huge civilization that stretched over 900 miles along the Indus River. It extended from modern-day northeast Afghanistan to Pakistan and northwest India. The civilization consisted of 2 large cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. It had more than 100 towns and villages, but around 1800 BCE, it began to decline for unknown reasons. It was rediscovered in 1856 when British officials were working on building a railway to connect cities. As they were working, they discovered fire-baked bricks. There were hundreds of thousands of these bricks. In 1920, their first major excavation took place, and that's when they discovered the Indus Valley civilization. It's thought that maybe changes in the rainfall patterns made it hard for them to grow food, so they had to relocate. But we still don't know for sure. In our second spot, we have Roanoke. It all started back in August of 1587. A group of 115 English settlers arrived on Roanoke Island. It was located off the coast, which is now considered Dare County, North Carolina. After a few months of living there, a man named John White, the governor of the colony, sailed back to England to gather more supplies. He left his wife and kids behind. But when he arrived in England, there was a huge naval war between England and Spain. His ship was seized by Queen Elizabeth. She took all available ships for this war. But this meant that John couldn't sail back to the island and to his family. 3 years later, he finally returned back. But the island was completely abandoned. There was no signs that anyone had ever been there. They just disappeared without a trace. The only clue lay carved into a tree. The tree had the name Croatoan carved into it, which was the name of an island that a tribe lived on. As a result, some believe that the inhabitants were killed or abducted by this tribe. But that's just a theory. Another theory is that they tried to sail back home to England and died along the way. And in our number 1 spot, we have Thonis Heraklion. This one is pretty much a real version of the lost city of Atlantis. So in the early 2000s, a group of divers found something fascinating off of the Egyptian coast. It was a face staring right back at them. Whoa. Not a real face. That would have given them nightmares. No, it was part of a statue. They continued searching and found more statues, ruins of temples, jewelry, coins, oil lamps, shrines, and a tomb. This is the lost civilization of Thonis Heraklion. Based on the artifacts, it was determined that the civilization was founded around 2,700 years ago. It was flooded or sank around 1,500 years ago. Apparently, the city was built around a big temple and was filled with a network of canals. But now it all lays underwater. How did this occur? Well, it's thought that they experienced a very disastrous flood. causing their buildings to collapse and soil to liquefy. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let's move right along to our comment shout-out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video Top 10 Dark Guardian Angel Stories You Won't Believe Are Real. Lori B commented, Lindsay, you're an angel. A hilarious one also. Aw, thank you. Ah, that's my little, that was so bad. That's my halo. I can see your halo. Yeah, Juan commented, I'm just waiting. Waiting for what? What are you waiting for? Keep on waiting! Waiting on the world to change. Ooh. Jose Montez commented, Lindsay should do cartoon voiceovers.
Whoa, fun fact, I do!
I do. But if anyone other like big cartoon agencies or whatever wants to hit me up, then I'll do voice work. Yeah.
Whoa, okay guys.
Alright guys, that's all the comments I've shown out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya. How we feel about the bangs though? Cut them myself, you can tell.